Welcome to the Joyful Experience podcast, where we discuss a variety of topics for those interested in the metaphysical and esoteric, magical tips for living and manifestation, the law of attraction, and ways to heal thyself. My name is Kat, known as the Joyful Healer on social media, and I am a queer Afro-Indigenous medicine woman, healer, internationally published author, artist, and energy healing educator. This episode is about This episode is going to be about the enigmatic attraction, unpacking the spiritual mismatch in relationships. In the realm of spirituality, the quest for harmony and balance extends beyond the individual self to encompass relationships. Yet, many spiritually inclined individuals find themselves in partnerships with others who seem to vibrate at a different frequency. This phenomenon raises essential questions. Why do spiritual people often attract partners who don't share their spiritual inclinations? What underlying dynamics drive this mismatch? And how can individuals reconcile their spiritual aspirations with the reality of their relationships? So, hold on, we're going to dig into it. Let's first explore the allure of complementary energies. One reason spiritual people might attract non-spiritual partners lies in the attraction to complementary energies. In the realm of personal growth, opposites often attract, as each individual seeks to balance their own energies. A spiritually inclined person may be drawn to someone who embodies qualities they lack or seek to develop, things like practicality, stability, or emotional depth. This complementary dynamic can foster growth, but it can also lead to frustration if the spiritual mismatch becomes too pronounced. There's also the karmic connections and soul contracting. Another perspective suggests that these relationships are rooted in karmic connections or soul contracts. According to this view, individuals may incarnate together to resolve past conflicts, balance karma, or facilitate each other's growth. In such cases, the spiritual mismatch serves a higher purpose, allowing partners to work through challenges and emerge stronger and wiser. However, this doesn't necessarily mean the relationship will be easy or sustainable in the long term. Energetic mirroring and reflection. Spiritual relationships often involve energetic mirroring, where partners reflect each other's unresolved issues, fears, and desires. A spiritually inclined person may attract a partner who mirrors their own unconscious patterns, forcing them to confront and resolve these issues. While this process can be transformative, it does require an immense self-awareness and emotional intelligence to navigate. There's magnetism of unresolved wounds. Unresolved wounds and unconscious patterns can also draw spiritual folk to partners who don't share their spiritual frequency. Trauma, past hurts, or deep-seated fears can create an energetic resonance that attracts similar energies in others. And until these wounds are addressed and healed, people may continue to attract partners who trigger or reflect their unresolved issues. Spiritual bypassing and the need for grounding. Some spiritual people may attract non-spiritual partners due to a phenomenon called spiritual bypassing. Has anybody heard of this? This occurs when individuals focus on spiritual pursuits to avoid dealing with their emotional, psychological, or physical issues. A partner who doesn't share their spiritual inclinations can serve as a grounding force, pushing the spiritual individual to confront their neglected aspects and integrate their growth. And there's also the illusion of separation. Ultimately, the notion of a spiritual mismatch relies on the illusion of separation, the idea that individuals exist independently with distinct frequencies. However, from a spiritual perspective, everything is interconnected and frequencies blend and merge. Rather than viewing partners as separate entities, spiritual people can recognize the shared human experience and the interconnectedness of all beings. So let's talk about navigating the spiritual mismatch. What can spiritual individuals do when faced with a partner who doesn't share their particular vibration, their frequency, or what have you? 1, self-reflection and introspection. Explore your motivations, desires, and unresolved issues to understand why you attracted this partner. 2, communication and empathy. Engage in open, honest communication with your partner, seeking to understand their perspective and feelings. 3, emotional intelligence and maturity. Cultivate emotional awareness, taking responsibility for your emotions and reactions. 4, spiritual growth and integration. Continue your spiritual journey, integrating your growth into daily life and relationships. 5, acceptance and compassion. Embrace the present moment, accepting your partner and the relationship as is, while cultivating compassion for yourself and others. And so, basically, the phenomenon of spiritual people attracting partners with different frequencies is complex and multifaceted. By exploring the underlying dynamics, people can gain a deeper understanding of themselves and their relationships. Rather than viewing their spiritual mismatch as a problem to be solved, we can embrace it as an opportunity for growth, integration, and self-awareness. So I'm curious as to what other people think about this. Now, I recently actually put out a 6-part video series on my YouTube channel, the Joyful Healer YouTube channel. And the name of the series is, basically, it's about high vibrational love and relationships. And the series breaks into 6 parts. You can go on YouTube right now and watch all 6 parts. And it basically talks about how you can understand what high vibrational love is, how you can attract it in your life, and how you can maintain such relationships. I just felt led to, basically the idea was downloaded in my head, and I was like, yes, I want to do a series on sacred connections in the form of high vibrational love and relationships. So if you haven't heard that, go onto my YouTube channel and check it out. It's very, very interesting. I think each episode will have you at least thinking, and perhaps even maybe giving you some preparation for getting yourself ready for the type of relationship that you are trying to manifest. So definitely check that out. And I do want to thank you for joining me on this podcast short. There may be a few changes to the podcast, as there have been some changes within the app that I was using. I'm not the most technically savvy individual, so bear with me, but I'm committed to this podcast. I'm currently on season 3. So if you hadn't heard this podcast until now, thank you for joining me, and I appreciate your presence. And I urge you to go back and get caught up on seasons 1 and 2 on Spotify. And moving forward, this podcast will also be released on YouTube. So in the event that something happens to Spotify, always come to my YouTube, and you'll be able to listen to current episodes. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you all with this. I should be releasing a fall podcast full episode coming up soon, as I continue to navigate the newness of the changes that has been imposed upon my less than technically savvy self. But I did have this idea, and I wanted to talk a little bit about spiritual mismatches, because I do tend to do some shorts every now and then of the podcast, and this is one of them. And I haven't done a podcast about relationships in a while, so I definitely was wanting to do that. Welcome any comments on your experiences with what you would consider spiritually mismatched relationships. And have you been in one? Are you currently in one? And if so, How did that work out for you? Are you still together? Were there some issues that you were able to work through, or were there things that were just issues that you could not resolve? So I'm curious. Let me know how that went for you, and let me know also what you think about the High Vibrational Love and Relationship series. I do want to send everyone love and light, and I appreciate you all sticking with me on this podcast. I've definitely enjoyed making each and every episode, and I will see you in the next one. If anyone has any questions or comments about this episode, I would be curious to know what you guys' opinions or questions would be. And feel free to contact me on all my social medias, and you can send those questions in. Or if you have any questions that you would like me to talk about in the future, I would definitely also welcome those. Again, you can find me on all social media under joyful_healer on Instagram, same on TikTok. And if you were to go into my bio, you will see my link tree. And on the link tree, you can find links to all my websites. Again, I want to thank everyone for listening, and have a wonderful and blessed day or evening.